Hello there! Welcome to Paranormal at the Boneyard. I am your hostess, Kyla, and I am here to tell you another story. As you can see, the weather, I'm not going to be doing much outside stuff for much longer. I have hit the weather area where I'm starting to get really cold. So I got the beret on, it's a light winter coat, but it's still a winter coat on. I'm in my backyard right now. The wind is starting to blow a little bit, so I hope you'll be able to hear me over the blowing wind. But it's been a nice day, so let's be out in it, even if we are cold. We're gonna try. So right now I'm in my backyard. Not gonna stay in my backyard. We're gonna go somewhere and have a little adventure. We're gonna do something I've never done before, so I'm excited about that. My brother and I are gonna go later tonight, and we will be posting it here, so excited about that. But once I tell you the story I'm about to tell you, you'll pretty much figure out what I'm gonna be doing tonight. I'm going to be talking about the Screaming Tunnel in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, because there's a Niagara Falls in the States too. And what I wanted to tell you about this is it's a tunnel that was built in the early 1900s. I looked online, couldn't find an exact date online. So there, some tunnels and places they carve into the bricks what year it was made. So maybe we'll find that when we get there. I don't know. I've never seen it, but that doesn't mean it's not there. But yeah, so the early 1900s, it's a limestone structure and it is gorgeous. I've been there during the day and it's got this beautiful curved archway and I absolutely love it. It's beautiful to look at. Now, it's not a tunnel that was made for the train tracks to go through, and it was not made for vehicles to go through. It was actually made for the train to go above and a water throughway to go underneath. So any water that would go over the bridge is now going under the bridge. So obviously the train tracks don't get flooded, which you don't want when a train goes by. So that's why it was originally built. But there have been legends of screaming coming from there that I'm going to express to you now. Now, I have heard myself personally of 3 different legends of what happened to get the name the Screaming Tunnel. All of them are horrific. They're terrible stories. I went online, found a 4th story, and it just seems to be as the years go on, the stories get more awful. So the very first story that I heard was of an unhappy couple that were married, and the wife decided that was enough. She is leaving her husband. So he learned of this and went into a blind rage. And as punishment to his wife for leaving him, he grabs their daughter and drags her into the tunnel and sets her on fire and burns her alive. But that's just horrible if that's true. And while she's burning, obviously she's burning alive, so she's screaming. That's the first legend that I've heard. The second legend that I heard was of a teenage girl, about 14, 16 years of age, who was pregnant and unmarried. And her father, totally ashamed and full of rage, to punish his daughter, drags her into the tunnel and sets her on fire and burns her alive. So both these legends, the dad comes out as a true ass. So I'm hoping that these are not true. I really hope not, because that's just horrible. It's horrific. I'm not saying that things like that don't happen. I do know that sometimes people are awful human beings and they do awful, horrible things. I'm just hoping that these are strictly legends with no basis in fact that this happened. The third one that I have personally heard, which out of the 3 of them, in my personal opinion, would be the most plausible, would be the story of the house fire. Now, this was a farm area at the time, so there were farmhouses surrounding the area, and the one that was closest to the tunnel caught on fire. Now, I've heard some stories saying that it was arson, and some stories saying that it was an accidental fire, but that there was only one person in the house, and it was a young girl, probably anywhere from 10 to 15 years of age, and she was seen running from the house, her clothes ablaze, and her hair on fire, and she was running towards the tunnel to get to the water to try and douse the flames. And unfortunately, she didn't make it. And she collapsed inside the tunnel and died. So out of the 3 of them, I don't hope any of them are right, but that one seems the most plausible. But the 4th one that I found online, I just found it today online, is horrific again. And it was these 2 young men who dragged a girl, whether they just said girl, it didn't say young girl or like it was a child or a teenager or anything like that, but they dragged this girl into the tunnel. They beat her, they rape her, they kill her, and then they burn her body so that all evidence is destroyed. So it almost seems like, as the years go on, we got to up the horrific nature of the legend. And I don't know if that says something about us as people in itself, or if it's just that, we're just so desensitized nowadays that we got to up the ante on how bad people can be to each other. So, but as I was looking online, I wanted to find out if there was any sort of truth to the legends, because there always is some sort of basis in fact to a legend, because they can happen. And that's, like, okay, this can happen. There can be the ghost with the lantern in the distance that will kill you when they get to you and stuff like that. Or there can be the psycho killer outside, with the kids making out inside the car. And if you get out, you'll be murdered. I mean, it's possible. So that's why legends exist, I think, because they're possible. So I wondered if there was any basis in truth, if I could find anything about the Screaming Tunnel and these legends that surround it. And I did go online and find it was an interview with a woman who was alive in the early to mid 20th century. Now, they didn't give her name, nothing like that, so I'm not 100% sure how accurate or truthful this is. But the reason why the Screaming Tunnel got its infamous name, according to this person that I read online, it was a story of an unhappy married couple, like the first one, and they would fight in this farmhouse. And then people said that they could see the wife of the house calmly walking away from the house and going into the tunnel and screaming at the top of her lungs, and screaming and screaming and screaming. And then she'd be done and walk out of the tunnel and just go back into the farmhouse. Now, people looked at this woman as insane, as crazy, and people around the area did not like her. I look at that as scream therapy, to be honest. If this is true, and this is what this woman did, I mean, early to mid 20th century, women still really didn't have a lot of rights. They didn't have a voice. They weren't allowed to have a voice. So this might have been the only way this woman could release the stress she was feeling from a horrible marriage, right? It's possible. And I've done scream therapy. Trust me, it works. There have been times where I've been so stressed out, I just get in my car, go someplace, and just sit in the car at a secluded area and just scream at the top of my lungs. And trust me, I do feel better afterwards. So I think that might have just been what this woman was doing. And because it was in a tunnel, of course, it would echo, and so it would terrify people around the town. And so they all looked at this woman as crazy and thought she was nuts and just didn't like her. But if this legend or this story is true, I think this woman was just going through scream therapy. Maybe she was at a time where she felt trapped in the marriage, could not get out of it, and therefore this was the only release she had as a way of dealing with this stressful situation she was in. And because this woman would go into the tunnel and scream, it became known. People around the town would call it the Screaming Tunnel, and now that's what it's called all the time. So that's all I really have right now. But I told you I'm going to go somewhere tonight. I'm going to go to the Screaming Tunnel. Now, my brother and I are going to go, and we're going to do a little legend killing ourselves, maybe. Legend killing. It is said that if you go around midnight and light a wooden match, you will hear a young girl scream, and your match will blow out. So I'm really excited about that, because I've always wanted to do this, and I've never had a chance. I've been to the Screaming Tunnel in the day and lit a match, but I'm there with like several people. It's during the day, so it's not midnight, and it's not quiet, it's noisy. So I'm like, let's go at midnight. So I asked my brother, because I'm too chicken to go by myself anywhere in the dark. Or is it smart? I don't know. But I'm like, let's test this. Let's go and see. I've got wooden matches. Let's go to the Screaming Tunnel at midnight tonight and light the match and see if anything happens. Let's see if we can hear some screaming. Some people say it's just the train going by overhead. Myself, I think there's a big difference between a train going by above your head, the noise that would make, than the screaming of a child or a young girl. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm gonna see if the match blows out, and I'm gonna see if we hear screams. So we're gonna be really quiet, and it's gonna be really dark, and it's gonna be really spooky. So I'm looking forward to this, and I'm gonna bring you along with me, and hopefully we get something. And if not, we've killed the legend. So or not. Probably not, but it'll be exciting either way. And I'm gonna bring you with me, and I hope you're gonna have a good time because I'm excited for this. So until then, okay, bye. It is like 10:45. It's going to take us about an hour to get to the Screaming Tunnel, so we are on our way now. This is my brother. His name is Braden. You will see him again, I'm sure, because he's the one that keeps me in line because he's a total skeptic. I am not. Although I will admit, I'm skeptical about this. I'm suspecting that we probably won't get anything, but like I said, I've always wanted to try this, so I'm very excited, and I'm really looking forward to getting down to the Screaming Tunnel. So hopefully nobody else will be there. It's getting cold, so hopefully we'll be the only ones, so it'll actually be quiet, and we'll see what we can do. So, okay, here we go. We have just arrived, and I've got to say, that tunnel is pretty damn dark. I'm so glad I got my brother with me because I'm such a scaredy cat when it comes to the dark like this, so... Okay, here we go. We got about 20 minutes before we get the screen going. So I'm just gonna set up the tripod and hope for the best. So wish us luck. My brother behind me, you can't really see him, but we're just sort of walking towards the center of the tunnel right now. I keep taking the thing off me because I can't see where I'm going when I put the light in my face here. But oh, it smells lovely. And yeah, it's like, you never know how dark things are until there really is no light. But this is pretty cool. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time. I think we're in the middle now. Yeah, it looks like we're in the middle. And we'll set up the tripod. So before we start, Braden, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to hear anything?
Nope.
My brother's the true skeptic. But there's been like rumors of, the possibility that what it is a train going by. But I think you can tell the difference between a woman screaming and a train going overhead. So, yeah, like this is a pretty cool place. It's been vandalized. There's a lot of, whatever. There's a lot of graffiti everywhere. I've taken pictures of the graffiti in the daytime. I have my camera here now just in case we get some cool shots in the dark. And we're gonna set up now. Exciting! Okay, this is we're in the middle of the tunnel right now, and we've got some flashlights going, but this is basically the end that leads to the forested area. And at one time, all of this was farmland, so there was no QEW Niagara on the other side. And you can see, as you can see, there's been all graffitied up and everything. Could you move the light with me, please, Braden? Thank you. And we'll go up. It's all like limestone brick. This is so gorgeous. Basically, I'm just trying not to step in water, so I did not see any signs with dates on it. Oh, look, somebody loves Satan. Some graffiti over there. That's nice. That's nice. And then you can see all the water on the ground. So there's a little tiny area where we can step that's not stepping. I'm presently stepping in water, but that's okay because I'm not getting my shoes that wet. But yeah, I think this place is pretty cool. Even at night, it's pretty cool. Oh, okay, so you want peace here, but if you go down there, I don't know if you can't really see it on the camera, but it says, I love Satan. So at least it's love. Okay, we'll turn this off now. Okay, and we'll get going. Getting close. We are at 1:45 midnight right now. They said around midnight. But before we start, we should probably just talk about, first off, we got the flashlight pointing up at us, so it looks like we're going to tell scary ghost stories. And I guess we kind of are. But there are several sounds. Like there's obviously the echo because we're inside a stone tunnel. So there will be like echoes, but we'll try to be very quiet and not say anything. There's also, eating my hair. There's also the trickling of water. So you'll hear a little trickle, 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 trickle. That will be a noise too. There's also a highway just out this way here. I guess like the 403 and or the QEW Niagara. And so if you hear maybe horns or like shrieking of tires or something, or just traffic in general going by. And like anything else, I very rarely am afraid of the dead. I fear the living. So there could be rodents running around here, although it is November. I did try to choose a time when it was cold so that nobody else would show up, you know, because I'm sure on a summer day there's lots of drunk teenagers who want to try this too. So I was like, maybe when it's cold there won't be any drunk teenagers here. And there was a car, they were trying to steal my thunder, I could tell, and then they left. So they knew better than to mess with 4'11" me. So it was my brother, he's so intimidating, yes. That's what it was. And there's also like little rodents and stuff like that, and there's people, so you never know. I mean, there are houses around here. There are people who live around here, and they're probably used to idiots like me who come out here and try to scare myself and things like that. So there are other sounds. So always try and find the logical explanation before you automatically jump to, oh my God, it's a ghost, it's this, it's that, it's the other. So like I said, I believe this is more urban legend than true ghost story, but I'm still hoping. It would be really cool, I think, to be able to do something like this and actually hear the screaming. But I'm not getting my hopes up too high. I'm at least that logical. And if I start to get carried away, he's Mr. Logic here, like literally to the point where I'm like, you know, Braden, I've had it up to here with your science and your logic because he ruins my thunder all the time when I'm trying to scare myself. So I think it's about time. So we're just going to shut this off and restart it. And then we will set the match and see what happens. I was just about to get started. I was actually being quiet and listening for other sounds. Of course, Braden didn't see it, but I just saw somebody run across. We were both looking in the same spot, and he didn't see it. And I saw, could have been a shadow person, I don't know. I just saw, it was like, vroom, somebody just go zooming by. It was like a humanoid shape. Just he has no, I didn't see it at all. But I swear to God, I just saw that. We were sitting here talking, and I'm like, I'm just getting used to the sounds and stuff like that. And then I look over and I see doot, 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 and I see somebody just running. And it was just, all I saw was a black human form. I didn't see features or anything like that. But yeah, at the end of the tunnel, on the outside, not on the inside of the tunnel. So now I'm really pumped for this. So, okay. So I'm just gonna, hopefully, we've got the light off now, so hopefully this match actually lights, because I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, clearly that just blew out because of the wind. So we'll light another one and try and put the, I can see the edges of the tunnel because there is light coming out from them, but I'm not.
There's moonlight.
There's moonlight.
There's
moonlight.
The moon is out.
It's a clear night, so we'll try one more. Okay, nope, there's breeze coming up there. Ah.
It's a tunnel.
Yeah. Okay, we'll try one more.
Wind tunnel.
It's a wind tunnel, yeah. I'm just trying to not get him. All right. Do you hear crying?
No.
Okay, well again, the candle. I keep calling it a candle. The match went out. Can you turn the light on, please? Okay. I thought I heard crying, but it actually might have just been dripping somewhere, because it wasn't the same kind of dripping I heard before. It kind of sounded like a doo.
Yes,
but yeah,
I heard that.
So that's like what it was, a dripping.
That was dripping.
Okay, that was a dripping sound. It wasn't crying, but when you're in the dark and your imagination's going wild and you want to hear something, that's something that you should pay attention to, because when you want to hear something so bad, sometimes you just think, okay, this logical explanation over here is clearly the non-logical explanation that I want to happen. And so you have to think about it. And I was like, I could hear what I thought might have been a female cry. Sobbing, yeah, like, but when you think about it, you're like, no, was there dripping of water? That whoop, whoop sound? That's what Braden says it was. He heard the same thing. It's the dripping of water. So do I have one more? I have one more match. We can try it one more time and see if we can hear anybody screaming. So let's try it one more time. Can you turn the light out, please? Okay. And shut up, Kyla, be silent. The flame's clearly not going out, and I'm not hearing any screaming. Yeah, it's burning right down to the nub of the wood, so it's not going out. Lights on. Oh! Don't look at a flashlight directly when they turn it on either, that's not good. Okay, so no screaming. I have to admit I'm not surprised, but I will say I'm disappointed. It would have been an urban legend I really would have liked to have come true, but sadly it did not. So just the logical explanations of dripping water and traffic going by, and that's what I think it might be. We were at one location one time that we will probably talk about in the future, where this place apparently had a screaming woman, so we're like, okay, let's hear the screaming woman, and what we concluded is that it's coyotes outside. So things like that. You got to be wary of what's around you before you jump to the conclusion of something supernatural, because it's probably more than likely a logical explanation. And if all the urban legends that I've heard about this location are true, the one that might be true is probably the story that I heard about the married woman who was frustrated with her marriage and would come in here and scream at the top of her lungs for scream therapy. So if any of them are true, it might be that one. But sadly, I didn't hear, well, not sadly, because that means nobody was burnt alive in here, and that's a good thing. So that makes me happy. That this actually makes me believe that maybe all of those urban legends are just our morbid ghost stories and just stories. So
Here,
yes. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because it does, but not here, not in this particular place. So I might just shoot a little bit of footage of this place in the dark, because this is a cool building. And like I said, I did see something that I can't explain, and Braden may not have seen it, but I saw it. And I did see what I saw looked like maybe a shadow figure or something run across on the outside of the tunnel. So maybe the outside is haunted, not the inside. You never know. So I'm going to shoot a little bit of footage, and then I will go, and I will see you next time. And remember, just because you can't sense it with your 5 senses doesn't mean it's not really there. So this is Paranormal at the Boneyard, Kyla and Braden signing off. See you soon.